Hello, FlossTube. We're the Real Housewives of Cottage.
I'm Priscilla.
And I'm Chelsea.
And Ronnie's at home.
And I'm Kimberly.
And here's Cash.
And today we're going to show you our favorite finished cross-stitch pieces and talk a little bit about why, to give you a little bit of inspiration to stitch at home. So one of my favorite finishes is this Quaker pumpkin. It is by the Stitcherhood, and I used 10 count burlap, and I love it because it was easy, quick, and I changed all the colors to be aurifil colors. And so anytime I can change something to fit my decor, it really will just like pop. And this frame is just awesome. I love the frame. So that's one of my favorite finishes. Another one is Be Joyful, and this is a design by Cottage Needleworks, and we changed all of the colors. We used Cosmo thread so that it would be very springy, and it really matches like the Fat Quarter Shop decor. I also love Be Thankful. This is by Cottage Needleworks, and we also put this on 10 count burlap, and we changed it to give it like a modern farmhouse look. And I love the frame and how the frame came out because it's kind of rustic and it's got a little bit of texture. So loving this. Another one of my favorites is I started the Cottage Needleworks Cottage of the Month series. It's an older series and I've been wanting to make it a long time. And I use the called for DMC colors, but I am using the family tree frames, which really gives it a nice accent. And so far I have gotten January, February, and March done, and I'm really looking forward to finishing off the season and actually having them in the actual month that it is.
So Kimberly and her team put together this beautiful set, and then we mailed our items to here, so we're so thankful that they came in one piece. And then when we came in, they were all set up. So we're going to show you our favorite stitch pieces that we have here.
And we love how it looks. It's amazing.
Okay, so she's going to start.
This is October 31st from With Thy Needle and Thread. And it's mounted on a sign that came from Michael's. And then this is Summer Night House on a Hill from Hands on Design, and I mounted it in a little wreath.
And this one I have is Sweet Rose by Little House Needleworks, and it is mounted on some black gingham in a thrift store frame. And that's one that you can purchase as a thread pack, so the fancy floss came with it.
And this is Freedom House, also by Little House Needleworks, and it's mounted on a thrift store frame.
And then over here, we've got up top is Where Are Thy Bees? So there's some smaller charts in that Prairie Schooler, and that's mounted in a Goodwill frame. Down here is Cottage Needleworks June Cottage of the Month. And another one of mine is Buttons Black, and this is a Plum Street sampler. And then opening this up, ta-da! At the top, I've got Liberty Lane right in the middle, and that was finished on some barnwood that we purchased at a flea market. So that's one of my all-time favorite finishes. We darkened up the colors to make it more of our decor.
And then this is Bless the Bees from Heart and Hand, and it's on a little house frame that I found at Hobby Lobby a couple of years ago.
Stars and Stripes by Little House Needleworks, mounted on a wood block.
Queen Bee Flower Farm made into a wreath, and that's my collaboration with Hands on Design.
And then this is a piece of it. So that's the sign piece of Queen Bee Flower Farm.
This is Fresh Eggs Farm.
Yeah, this is Fresh Eggs Farm. Just a small portion of it that we've taken and stitched and mounted on a little frame. Again, another one, and this was on like a butter dish, an old butter dish.
No, it's a little baking pan.
Oh, a little baking pan.
Yes, and this is from Autumn Acres Farm, and Calvin is in there, and then I added Ronnie.
Back here is Hen Party by Little House Needleworks.
That one's yours, Old Glory.
Oh, Old Glory, also by Little House Needleworks down here on the bottom.
This is the small portion from Carrots and Cottontails Farm, my collaboration with Hands on Design. And then
one of my most recent finishes is this spring whirligig. This was a market release by
Heart and
Hand.
And it's mounted on a trivet, a vintage trivet. And then this is Patriotic Poppies back here. That's a With Thy Needle and Thread chart. Okay, so here is Mary 3 from Plum Street Samplers, and it's mounted on a galvanized sign. And Field Mouse Hollow
from With Thy Needle and Thread.
With Thy Needle and Thread. and this little cat sign was from Walmart, and then it's all mounted in a wreath. Down here is Winter Wonderland Farm, collaboration with Hands On Design, and this is just the truck portion. Same here, this is the Carrots and Cottontails, just the truck from the Carrots and Cottontails farm. And then Chelsea's is the bottom.
The Old Red Barn, and that's a Little House Needleworks. And that's another one of my all-time favorite finishes that I said I would rescue if my house were on fire.
And it's mounted on old barnwood that we got at a flea market.
So we hope you have inspired you to think out of the box when you're putting your finishes together, and we would love for you to comment below and let us know what your favorite pieces that we showed today. Make sure to like us on Fat Quarter Shop FlossTube and subscribe to our channel, and
follow us on Instagram at Priscilla Blaine, at Chelsea356, Priscillas 2000 on Facebook, and Priscillas2000.blogspot.com, and also our Facebook group, Stitching with the Housewives, and our Real Housewives of Cross Stitch YouTube channel. And we love to decorate our home with our finished pieces, and we hope that you do too. So thank you for joining us.